All right. Hello, good morning. This is Dr. Mia Luth, and it is May 5th, 2024, 8:19 a.m., New York Eastern Time, USA. And I've already kind of had a goof up this morning. It's only 8:19, and already I've already had an issue this morning. Supposed to go to PT at 7 o'clock, and I mistakenly thought that I had a ride coming, and I accidentally put it on the wrong day, and then found out someone got into a car accident. It's just right. So I did not make it to PT this morning. I rescheduled for Wednesday at 8 a.m. Um, I don't like missing appointments, but unfortunately, it does happen sometimes. There's just nothing that can be done about it. So still, I got they hooked me up with an appointment, and so I know I have to walk, and I'll make it no problem. I mean, it's not that big a deal, but it does put me behind a little, and yeah, I am not as capable of playing catch up right now as some others. But regardless, it's okay. Just already this morning. Uh, so this particular um, Cree Singer Radio installment is meant directly for music lovers, musical artists, and musical people. Uh, there doesn't need to be any particular business that runs Cree Singer Radio because basically it is all volunteer. Okay. And it is meant for musical people and musical artists. Uh, I have, have gotten some news when it comes to my health. And this time around, I don't expect to live forever like this. So I am trying to get out what's really important before I pass away. And there's some stuff just not important. So I just booted it. But this is. Um, so the way that uh, I'm not really sure. Actually, I haven't looked. But yes, there was such a thing called TweetDeck, and so you can, at least on TweetDeck, and well, I mean regular Twitter. It depends on the version you're still using because some haven't upgraded. I mean, you'll be forced to at some point, but basically, if you search a tweet stream, you get a tweet stream for that search for that hashtag. So someone right. So basically, if you do a search for that hashtag Creasinger Radio, basically you're gonna see it's all my content. Okay. But I am saying that anybody who has sees a story that you share on X or Legacy Twitter, feel free to also include the hashtag Creasinger Radio. It could be an article about uh how tambourines get made, or what country first started using the tuba regularly. Okay. As long as it's music, music related, and related to musical people. Okay. Right. The idea is if you hashtag that, uh, if you have, a private story that you do want to share, you don't, there is not monetary reward in this right now. Do you understand? Okay. But what it does is allow a free flowing, constant Twitter X stream for content 24 hours a day available. You understand? And so the more people contribute, the more information and knowledge base gets built. Okay. The more people might, musical artists might be able to connect uh, socially with others who understand what they go through. And so I can give a recent example. I have subscribed to um, mostly musical artists on my YouTube. And so I get the notifications when they come through. And one of the more recent, I think, interviews that I've seen, uh, the lead singer, he's been the lead singer since 1996, I think. So we'll just say the lead singer. There may have been one before, but you're right. Most people didn't even know about Disturbed then. So, um, although I am not trying to diss his contribution, you understand. But I am saying David Draymond, right? And uh, he does. It does seem like he has a classically trained voice, but that I don't really know. I don't know all there is to know about the man Disturbed, but there was an article. No, it was an interview, and David Draymond did explain. I'm not going to put the link up for you. I mean, nowadays it's so easy to search that, right? You just type in, you can just type in David Draymond recent interviews, and I guarantee you'll find it. Right. If I can skip a few little things, it helps me. You understand? So if somebody's got to do that little extra work to put in the search bar what I'm talking about, I'm sure it's okay. Even if you can't type, you can still voice to, yeah. Um, there are some ADA specific things that are very helpful for people who are non-sighted and deaf, and they are available to most human beings who use the internet. So you may not know about them, but if you would like to use the internet and you do have those issues, there are people who are likely more aware of how to use them and set them up, and they are mostly free. So you have free resources so that you have as equal an opportunity as possible to use the internet just like everyone else, just with a few little minor helpers or maybe some tech, because technology should also be equal opportunity. Right. Some people are working on that. So, you know, there's goodness in large amounts on its way. So please keep the faith. I do want to discuss this because this is meant for musical artists, and I know I've been paying attention how the industry has changed over time. Even though, I've been kind of in the periphery, sort of on the right. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that, I had no issue being the rock for my family until they passed away. And if that meant that, I couldn't just leave home fully and go pursue my dreams, okay. I was still able to produce some music, and I was still able to put that out to the public. And considering I did it on one take when I had bronchitis on a 4 track, and actually I didn't even use the 4 track. I just sang, right? I sang and played 1 track because I just at that point was like, I need to get it recorded. I need to get it out. It's not going to get any better than this. I don't want to fuck with it. I'm done. Okay. So I don't ask for money for that. Um, but I am putting out free use to all musical people, musical types, and if you find an article about, let me think of something, polka, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, bands, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I appreciate. Listen, I'm gonna say this out loud. I appreciate the 1, 2, 3 in the music. You understand, right? It's another reason. Yes, like Viennese waltzes. Yes, the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's happy times for me. You understand, right? Uh, I mean, I appreciate pretty much all of it, but I think that one of the most attractive thing to me about some music is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I like the way it flows. Right. So, hello, bands and polka artists. You count. Right. That is what I'm saying. So, the more people who get in the habit of using the hashtag Creasinger Radio, okay? Right. I am asking you to limit it to music related content or musical related or musicians. Do you understand? So, right, if you find this really interesting article about a polka band that's just been at it, right, please, please do. Okay. When you share it, okay, whenever you share anything musical, I am saying, please think about also using the hashtag Creasinger Radio. I mean, it it doesn't take that much extra time out of your day, is what I'm saying. So I'm saying it's actual artists as well. For music premieres, video premieres, um, if you are going on tour, if you are putting out a new album, for instance, I do know, um, I'm putting in on online here is free to use for all music related content. So basically, then what you're also doing is helping to provide maybe a few connections that can be found via creasing or radio online. That, yes, people who don't have a lot of money, or people who don't have a lot of experience, or people who want to get in touch with other types of musical people. You understand? So basically, the more musical people who include the hashtag creasing or radio, the more information and maybe connections or things that you never thought about. As somebody put some kind of article about copywriting on creasing or radio, right? That's what I'm saying. So it's meant for artists, it's meant for fans who you have a soundtrack of your lives. You understand? Right. and maybe you're musical in some way, but you might be the maker of a musical instrument. I mean, yes. So if you're Paul Reed Smith, if I'm gonna make this statement. If I accidentally mention someone who I think is still alive, and I just have not found out yet that they've passed away, well, please forgive me that. Right? It's just it, it's been extra hard on me because I'd already lost all my family. Yes, my close family. Mom, dad, sibling, the grandparents, aunts, uncles gone. So when friends and people I've appreciated, and I may not have even met them myself personally, but it is like that. It's like with Fletch, Andy Fletcher, Depeche Mode. Like that was like the brief kick in the face when I heard that because that was not expected. Like right, and you know I've always appreciated Depeche Mode. Well, yes, in high school we would refer to them as depressed mode, but they do have some very encouraging songs if you listen. And they've been through some shit together. So the fact that they're still making music is pretty awesome. And this last time around, an album came out of a missing band member. And just like everybody else, I'm used to Mr. Andy Fletcher, Depeche Mode music. So, admittedly, as a person who always likes Depeche Mode music, it all grows on me. I may not at first listen, right? It might take a few, and yeah, but that's what I'm saying is that it all grows on me. I learn, I know, I appreciate s- every single song for some reason or another. And some of us grew up like we know Andy Fletcher style kind of Depeche Mode. And I heard that news the day after he passed away, and it's like as a music lover, it's like I never met Andy Fletcher, but I mean Depeche Mode's just not going to be the same. I mean, I'm not saying that there aren't people who can rise to the occasion, obviously, but it's just going to be different now. So I just as a side thought, it felt like a kick in the face a little. I was just like, "What? Fletch?" But an album came out of it. So, and there are people who can fill in, obviously, but it's just going to be different for us. We're just used to Depeche Mode as Depeche Mode. You know what I'm saying? So when someone passes away, I mean, as opposed to someone leaving a band or whatever, right? You know, when my heart hurt for the the people who worked with Andy Fletcher his whole life and his like family and close ones, and of course, like the remaining band members, obviously, like my heart hurt for you guys. a little bit. But we have all that music. So, you know, in a way, right, we still have all that Depeche Mode music that, right, includes Andy Fletcher. So that's good at the very least. But that's not something that people are going to want to hear shortly after someone's death, okay? So I don't address things right off the bat sometimes because it just isn't the right time. But for those of us who love and appreciate the music that collectively the members of Depeche Mode have put out, we at the very least have all that video with Fletch, all that time, the memories that people have that I'm sure more and more will share, as we go. And at the very least, we still have Depeche Mode, right, with the Andy Flare, the Fletch Flare. So after some time has passed, right, we can look at it that way, and that's good. Right. Anyway, so back on topic, Singer Radio is the hashtag that is meant for musical people to have a 24-hour live uh, legacy Twitter, now called X stream. Okay. So I am encouraging people who love certain bands. I mean, yes, that's the thing, is that there are people who may follow bands around because the band allows them. They're writing a biography, or they're taking behind the scenes pictures or whatever. Right. You do have to check, right, with certain things, but that's what I'm saying is bands, tell your uh if you're an artist and you have marketing people, or you right, or you have people who send premieres to radio stations or whatever. If you would consider adding Singer Radio on uh, Twitter X as also a means for you to get your new music out, or your new video, or whatever. Okay, if you would ask your A&R people, the people who right, okay, exactly. So, I mean, these things should be cleared releases of things, not, let's not put stolen bootlegs on Singer Radio. If you do, and an artist has issue with it, it's you who's going to take that hit. You understand? Okay? Some bands have no issue with bootlegs, but if you know that they might, then just don't do it. Okay. But I am asking, right, fan clubs, people who, right, you might be one of those people who knows every single thing about how the flute came about on Earth and its evolution since, and its creation. You understand? Right? So, music nerds, start using the hashtag Creasing a Radio, because it is also a way to store and record the history of music on Earth. And so I will simply just go with, well, my thought is the internet is likely going to last until the world ends. I mean, if there's no electricity and there's no earth and there's no internet, but other than that, you understand? So I am putting this out here for musicians. But what I was getting at with David Draymond, he did a recent interview, and he mentioned that he can get lonely because he's the front man and he has to sing. And nowadays, people, if you're partying after every show, if you're drinking after every show, if you're inhaling any kind of smoke after any show, if you understand these days the more harmful things are very quickly disappearing. Okay, right. But he mentions that it can be lonely because, right, as a his voice, he's an instrument himself. It's his voice, it's his instrument. So intake of things, I do agree. Hydration, hydration for every musician. This is not just for athletes. This is for right, every kind of musician. Hydration is something you have to consider. Some people, need water, H2, but some might need, yes, some kind of electrolyte, right? Okay. Now, caffeine can dehydrate. Okay. That is one of the reasons that caffeine intake should be kept to a minimum. And yes, all these other things. I mean, you can't go do like, you know, you can't go drink a bunch of hard alcohol night over night with your friends or party, and it's not even a question of becoming an alcoholic. I mean, you might be able to do it in moderation, but there's no fucking way it's not going to eventually take a toll on this. Yeah. So nowadays, he's pretty much explains that it can get a little lonely. He can't necessarily, yes, imbibe or partake like the rest of his band can because he wants to perform at his best. Yeah, I can pretty much guarantee that when he first started out, he probably was not aware of some of the things that he might have to put away. But yes, vocalists learn quickly if they want to keep going these days. Right. So, he explains. And this is what I'm saying is that artists who might need to get, you know, some encouragement from another artist that you don't really know, it's okay. Right. That's what I'm saying. Eventually, what I'm saying is that is a vision for Creaser. You just put, Creasinger Radio in your hashtag. You can do this with Instagram too. And Facebook. I don't have Facebook. Uh Quit trying to force it on me, man. I did try it. I didn't have time for it, and there were some things about it that really caused me issue. Those things have been looked at and changed, but right now I do not have Facebook. This is my artistic decision, you understand? Right. Chris Singer Radio. That is what I'm saying. So if you're an artist and you're feeling that and you're feeling like maybe the band doesn't understand or your partner or spouse or whatever, you feel like, I guarantee you, okay, you hashtag Chris Singer Radio and you just put out there, are there other, yes, you know, front people who feel this way, and maybe you can communicate with them and you guys can encourage each other. You understand? So I'm 100% sure that there are frontmen and women of uh, some successful bands who completely understand what Mr. David Draymond's going through. I do it in a different way. Yes, I didn't know when I was younger a lot of things. But it's okay. You understand? I mean, I caught on quickly enough to be able to, yeah, not completely wreck up my voice. I learned quickly enough. But had I kept going, yes, you understand? Right. There's just no way I could possibly sing the way that I sing. Okay. Uh anyway, that is what I'm saying. So new artists, older artists, it's a way also for people to just put out there. It's like a bulletin board in the hallways at school or in the hallways at work. You understand? Right. You understand? It's meant for all musical people and all musical lovers. And that is a way for people to just put out there. So I am saying Singer Radio is to be used freely by all music lovers and all musical people. And what that will do is start building a very specific knowledge base, and it that information will stay available online for the next generation. So if you're a musical artist of some kind, and right, like you used to do things with your hands when you were younger that you stopped doing because you need your hands to play piano or an instrument, right? Please, please share. Please share with other people. Like some of the stuff that you learned could be an issue. Please share on Increasing Your Radio. I mean, so far, content's mostly all mine. However, right, it isn't just meant for me. And also for those artists who end up getting thoughts of suicide the very minute you have a thought, right? At the very least, just quite literally, just go online and put Creasinger Radio, hashtag Creasinger Radio, and say, attention, fellow music people. I'm getting thoughts of self harm, and I need some help being distracted. Okay. There are going to be fellow artists who see that, and they may have already learned how to just totally overcome all that. And they might have good tips, but they might want to come visit you and sit with you for real, because all these artists are also human beings, right? The other thing I'm going to say is, I'm going to get this out there. Any musical, any band in my lifetime who has tried, who has made that effort to all get sober off of something together as a band, well, your chance of success that way is much higher because you're all right getting each other's back. Like, oh no, you don't bring that in here. Right. And none will want to try and hinder or right bring stuff that, right, you understand, you're not, it's going to be less likely you're going to be accidentally hindering each other, or right, then you'll understand better. because you're all going through something similar together. So for certain bands, if first album back, first sober album, you know what? Some people want have ditched some musical bands because you didn't understand that they did something not only difficult, but they did it together. And they're actually, yes, did get off of whatever it was. And they're sober and clean from that for good because they watch each other, right? Exactly. Like, oh no, we're not going back on that. We're not getting back on that ride. Right. Some people actually out loud in public accuse those kind of artists sometimes of air quote selling out. And I'm just like, what the fuck are you people? Excuse me. Please hold thy tongue sometimes, everyone. Everyone. Every human. I'm talking about everybody. There are times you don't know, you aren't aware. You understand? Right. Because first album back sober might be a different sound. It might be a different vision. It might be a different person is driving the band. I don't know entirely. They know these things, the bands themselves, but most people don't. And you got to know that. Like, right. There are people who may not appreciate that if first sober album back is a departure from what you're used to, well, then just be the same kind of fan you were before and let it grow on you. Or, okay, that might not be your favorite album that they've made. You understand? The next one might blow your face off, man. You understand? Right. So I will slowly but surely. I don't want to, right, blast everybody with a bunch of stuff. So, but slowly but surely, I will start, sending maybe this kind of video to artists, A&R people, radio stations. I mean, I would do what I can while I am still alive on Earth, but I also want everyone to know, realistically speaking, if I see the age of 65, well, that'll be amazing. Okay. But I'm not looking that far ahead because I doubt I'm going to want to even fight through that. Okay. Right. So right now I'm sticking with, okay, cancer free remission. However, I have to use the term remission. There isn't any other kind of term I can use. I pray for anyone that you go cancer free entirely. Just leave that pile of shit behind you and move the fuck on. I get revisited, you understand? So, me personally, I have to use the term remission, which is apparently what I'm in when it comes to that. But I have other health issues, including the fact that I'm basically, yes, I got a bum lung. So I'm basically one lung in it and trying to you know, focus my body since I use my whole body to get singing out of me. Yes, I have to understand. I have to relearn how to sing using 1 1/4 lung. And even if I tried to get a lung transplant, right, there there is becoming less and less safe time frame for me. My ability to endure certain surgeries is, yes, reducing. So I'm dying, and I know I got some time left. So this is what I'm doing with it. And Singer Radio is meant to be used freely. It's meant to be used, and yes, content accumulated by and for musical people for other musical people. And it's a way to also socialize if you see somebody, but that is what I'm saying. So that's pretty much where I'm going to aim when it comes to Singer Radio. It's free. It's to be used freely. I don't make any money from it, and I don't plan to. And it is a very specific place that is meant specifically for artists. And it's also meant if you are struggling with mental health, if you are in a band and you feel like you're isolated, then I'm sure that other people who are in bands, there's probably someone who understands and feels that way, and they may become your friend just for a period of time, right? That you can have conversation with because you know that you're talking to somebody who is in a similar situation. Also, for uh, artists who would like to put your music out online and have people, like you put a free song out or you got a demo or whatever, please, please, please do include in your social media, you know, um, drop date, whatever people, right, drop, right. Please do, and let your friends know if you're not signed or you're just right, it's okay. Please do. You understand? Because more and more people who do that, right, there will be more and more. There's lots of places, but this specifically is meant for music lifers. Okay. And you don't necessarily have to be a musician. You might be a guitar maker or a piano maker, or you work for Yamaha and you're in the music division. You understand? Right. Or you work for Sony and you're in the music division. Or there's a new type of, guitar that, right. You understand? Exactly. That's what I'm saying. This is meant for anyone who can get something up online. Right. Anybody, anywhere. So if you know of some musical people and they don't have the internet and right, and you would like to, you know, uh let help them, right, get something on the internet because it's not something they usually use or would know how to use. Please, please, please include in your press packs, in your NR, in your your some people call it a campaign. I don't know. Your yes, your online marketing, but it is specifically meant for information, right? It can be about the history of like a band or the history of a type of music or but you understand? If you see something on YouTube and it's got anything to do with music and you think it's just freaking balls out awesome and you want to share online, please also, yes, consider using the hashtag Creasinger Radio because I am 100% trying to make sure that Creasinger Radio outlives me by a long margin. So I am contacting some musicians, some well, it's yeah, a lot of times the artists don't necessarily always handle their own Twitter X account, but they have people right. Some do, right. But they do have people who check and uh this is something that is already proven helpful to a couple of people. That hashtag. And since I'm not those people and I have not asked, I cannot speak about their story with great detail, but at some point they can and will. Right. They don't have to right now. So, all of you who are out touring and traveling, I wish you all safe, yes, uneventful travels from gig to gig. Okay. Also, Bill's Music. It's Twitter account, Twitter X account at Bill's Music. If you are a road warrior musician and you're doing your own van and it's just right or whatever, I mean you have a whole crew that works for you, whatever. Signed or unsigned, you understand? Right. If you are anywhere near Maryland and you have any kind of need that has to do with musical instruments, get in touch with Bill's Music. I know I'm doing the left right thing. I'm still getting the hang of it. It's funny. Well, that's why. It's sort of like you get some behind the scenes. Yes. Bill's Music. I will say that there are some people who know me, and actually, a few of them actually saw the. I had at one point Yamaha build me a, you know, uh, full size piano keyboard slash synthesizer. Synthesizer. Right? It's uncommon that certain components, right? They don't usually do that. Uh, and at some point, yes, someone did tell me that I should, yes, Lloyd's of London. It started getting like expensive, right? At one point, though, I decided that I was gonna sell it because one, I was not gonna pay that much to insure something that, yeah, it could get too much dust or a little paranoid because I did have some roommates who didn't quite understand. Yes. It's like I can't just go to a store and like buy a replacement for this mother. You see what I'm saying? Right. I mean, I had some yes, renters insurance. There were some things, but right. And I also was moving around a lot. And at one point I did realize that I'd rather have a separate component anyway. So, okay, very special musical instrument to me. And there is no other place. I didn't put it on Craigslist. I didn't put it on eBay. I didn't put it up on any trade, yeah, musical trade, nothing. I went personally myself to Bill's Music, Catonsville, Baltimore County. Okay. I would not even think to try and sell something that special and important and right one of a kind to anyone except for Bill and Bill's Music. Because I guarantee you, these people, you can't just walk in and get a job. This is not how this works. Okay. You got to have some skills. You got to be at least master's degree level at some form of musical art and particularly an instrument. Otherwise, there's no way you're working at Bill's Music. Okay? So I can just let musicians and other people who, yes, are maybe finicky, whatever, you can trust Bill's Music. If they don't know, right, they can likely find it for you. I mean, they will go out of their right. They don't hire teenagers out of school who don't have any right. You understand what I'm saying? Right. So I felt very comfortable selling my one of a kind instrument to Bill's Music because I know that they would respect it and I know that they would sell it to somebody who respected it. You understand? It wasn't about money. I didn't need to bargain. I didn't need to barter. I didn't care. Whatever they told me first off, I'm like, okay, okay, right. I'll take what you offer because I know that, right, they're not going to give me something, right. They did not give me like, oh, give me like $10 because, right. You get what I'm saying? Okay. The person who looked at it understood right away that it was not right, that it was special made. And yes, ask me questions about it. Like any keys, any issues, does everything work? Are you, yes. Do you understand? So, if there are any other musicians and musical people who might have a couple extra minutes in your day at some point, if you don't mind, uh, if you have ever been to Bill's Music, please take the time to uh, let people know about your experience online so that other musicians and other musical people know and understand that that is a reputable establishment. And I would not at all have brought a one of a kind Yamaha musical instrument anywhere else. I would have kept it or waited until I found right a proper buyer my own self. Right. I didn't go anywhere else. Okay. Singer Radio. Please. Please spread the hashtag Singer Radio and feel free to use it freely. Please just the content needs to be music or music related or musician related. That's all. Okay? There aren't essentially any moderators. However, you understand? At some point, there might be. But right now, I want it to be available. So I'm not going to stop until I die because this is a good vision and this is a possible thing. And this is not like any other sort of thing. This is meant to be run by people got the music in them. And sometimes you're just a music, right? You're not just a music fan, you're a music lover. right? Because, yes, so some of you may not get paid as musicians, but you understand like a musician. Well, you count too. Okay? Well, yeah, of course, I'm gonna hit up 30 Seconds from Mars. Well, here's what I can say is I did hear here and there that they don't have personal physical security. Wow, fellows. Keep going. Like, I wish you all the best. I hope that every single person who comes around you respects that. Did not get that courtesy at all. So I'm a single female and I am, I have medical issues. I don't carry a firearm and I wouldn't carry a firearm because I have PTSD and occasionally, right, reoccurring thoughts of suicide. So every single motherfucker who kept trying to push me into jobs that required me to handle a firearm weren't listening. You don't get to tune people out and open your mouth. If you didn't hear them, you zip it. Please, musicians, if I find out that what I heard about the death of Chester Bennington is true, then Lincoln Park can kiss their fucking ass goodbye. You understand? If it's not true, I will find that out. But if it is, I suggest, if it is true, the band be the ones to put it out loud. If it's not, don't sweat it. The truth will be known. Chris Singer Radio. That's a vision. It's possible because I'm doing it right now. I love you, by the way, people. Maybe brotherly, sisterly. Maybe we can't live in the same house. But none of you gonna walk around trying to tell me you left this world unloved because you would be lying. Okay? Thank you. Please spread the word. All right? Just call it my dying wish, okay? It's my bucket list.